But does that kind of answer your question a little bit?
So as you move the microfiche, the narrative will change or continue depending on how you...
Depending on what you're looking at and depending on the movement that you're making.
Okay, but I wondered, I mean, you could do the same thing on a computer also. Why this microfiche thing? That's my
Right.
question.
Okay. Well, like I said before, I think this has a different type of feel than a computer, and I want the user to kind of question the technology that they're using and how that content carries on over time. And if I were to do it like in Flash or something like that, that's not. I'm interested in taking an older technology, applying like giving it digital quality.
Of history or something, history in media and using those.
Right. Yeah. Theoretically, a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, obviously, yeah, you can do it pretty easily, like with a computer, something like this, because you have a mouse. But naturally, the microfiche tray is basically like a mouse, right? It's you move on a linear XY axis or a plane. Mm-hmm.
And it's so instantaneous too.
Right. And it's just, it's analog. It's not a bunch of pixels. It's actually a projection, something that you can hold. Okay, so I want to move to the next piece, and this is just like an example, and I'm just going to read out of one of these source texts that I have. This picture doesn't mean a lot. Well, you've got this little subtitle there that tells you about it, but this is some of the content that I'm interested in. Like if you're navigating over this map and then suddenly you come to a point in the map where you find this picture, and so then there's a audio that's cued, and I'm in a process of kind of summarizing a lot of this stuff, but I'm going to read this directly from the text. Bent says that while the Indians were making actually, I'm going to start over here. How am I doing on time? Okay, I'm going to start over here. Custer, everybody's familiar with Custer. This is when he was a young Custer. Custer rode out ahead of his command with an orderly and was met by some chiefs, including Medicine Arrow. The Indians say that Custer was brought into camp and to the Medicine Arrow Lodge, where he sat down under the medicine arrows, and the keeper of the arrows lit a pipe and held it while Custer smoked. And while Custer was smoking, Medicine Arrow told him in Cheyenne that he was a treacherous man, and that if he came there with a bad purpose to do harm to the people, he would be killed with all of his men. Then the arrow keeper with a pipe stick loosened the ashes in the pipe and poured them out on the toes of Custer's boots to give him bad luck. And then just a footnote, the Custer did, about 8 years later, he had the Little Bighorn massacre in which him and all of his troops and the Cheyennes believed that it was this incident that caused that disaster to happen to Custer. But the Indian was not far wrong as to Custer's intention, for Custer says that while he was smoking this pipe, he was planning how to surround the camp and attack or capture it. However, he now learned that there was 2 white women in the camp, so he did not dare attack until he could secure them. Custer says that when his troops approached, the Indians fled from their village and made toward Little Robe's camp, which was some distance off. He said that he caused to be seized Big Head and Dull Knife, dog soldier chiefs, with 2 other men whom he held hostages. He then sent word to the Indians to return and take away their lodges if they chose, and many did so. After waiting here a few days for the delivery of the white prisoners, he told them that if the prisoners were not given up on the following day, he would hang the Cheyennes he held. The following afternoon, the women were given up. Bent says that while the Indians were making a friendly visit to Custer's camp, so this is a different account from George Bent, who was his mother was a Cheyenne. His father was white, but he lived with the Cheyenne. Bent says that while the Indians were making a friendly visit to Custer's camp, they heard the officer give a loud command, and the soldiers all seized their guns and attempted to surround the Indians. All got away except for 3. And this is the 3 in this picture, whom Custer held and sent to Fort Hays, where they were imprisoned with the Cheyenne women. Afterward, 2 or 3 of these men, Slimface, 80 years old, the one on the far right, were killed by the guards. There seems to be some confusion about the men who were captured. They are the 3 who were photographed and whose picture has been printed in a multitude of books on the early West. And this picture has showed up in all kinds of early Western books, and it has a different caption pretty much on each one. So there's a lot of mystery involved with this old photograph. Bent gives the name of the man island as Lean Man, and Old Two Moon and Northern Cheyennes identifies the picture as that of the brother of his mother. And then it's not in this text, but in a couple other. It says that this picture was taken, then they were taken to another fort, and there was an incident because they put them with all of the women prisoners that they already had. They started interacting. They hadn't seen each other for a long time. And then the guards, who didn't have a translator with them, came and tried to seize these 3 men. The women thought that they were taking the men to kill them. So the women basically attacked the guards. Slimface kind of was trying to stand in between them, and he took a bayonet to the gut, and he died 2 days later. So, and then there's a lot of other narrative that occurs before this picture was taken too, but okay, I'm just about done, but I'm gonna show, so I've been doing a lot of map exercises as well, that just have to do with the area, and on that map, I haven't mentioned it yet, but just so you have an idea of how nomadic these people were, that's like Montana is basically the top of the map, or Canada, and Texas Panhandle is the very bottom. So they've moved around a lot. This is just a map that I did, and on the side